Hi, I'm Fizz. Welcome to the Fizz Story Experience. I hope you have fun. I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope you find yourself. And I hope you get lost. Fizz out, play on.
I want you to picture something for a second. You are sitting in a dimly lit pub in Cork City, Ireland.
Okay, setting the scene. I like it.
Right. So you have a pint in front of you, and you're on a date. And it has only been going for about, 10 minutes.
Oh, so it's super early.
Exactly. It's early, you're just getting to know each other, making small talk. But then the guy sitting across from you rolls up his sleeves, and as he does, you realize his arms are just completely covered in Nazi tattoos.
Oh, wow. I mean, that is the ultimate record scratch moment for anyone.
Completely.
Your nervous system would just instantly light up.
Yeah, your brain immediately floods with questions, right? Like, do you throw your drink in his face?
Or just quietly excuse yourself to the bathroom and, sprint out the back door.
Right. Or do you get into a massive screaming match right there in the middle of the pub? Because for most people, the fight or flight response would just take over entirely.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
But the person sitting across the table in our source material today, they didn't scream and they didn't run.
Which is wild.
It's wild. Instead, they asked one simple, entirely calm question about tax policy that completely broke this guy's brain.
Which is just such a phenomenal reaction.
It really is. Welcome to today's deep dive, where we are jumping into a deeply fascinating collection of personal life notes and also a very specific digital artifact.
Yeah, a 2009 Facebook direct message.
Right, a message from a man named Lucas sent to an individual named Lou, and our mission today is to explore how that single, bizarre 10-minute pub date,
Just a 10-minute micro interaction, really.
exactly, how that interaction pulls back the curtain on the invisible machinery running the global economy.
And, as we get into this, it is really worth noting for you listening that we are looking at raw, lived human experiences here.
Yeah, very wrong.
We are dealing with politically and socially charged encounters, things involving prejudice and radical ideologies.
But we aren't here to take political sides or preach to anyone, obviously.
No, not at all. We are here to act as neutral observers. We're just lifting up the herd of this interaction to see the fascinating psychological and macroeconomic engines that drive human behavior.
So let's jump right into the aftermath of this pub encounter. It's captured perfectly in this Facebook message from October 14th, 2009.
Right, so this is roughly a year after they sat across from each other in that pub in Cork.
Yeah. And Lucas is reaching out to Lou. He opens the message by admitting to being, and he puts this in his own quotation marks, by the way, the racist Italian.
Which, I mean, honestly is a wild way to reintroduce yourself to someone.
Seriously, like, hey, it's me, the racist Italian. But it does show a level of self-reflection that was completely absent a year prior.
Totally. It's a stunning confession, really. He tells Lou that he is moving to Australia in January to restart his life.
Right.
And he writes this incredibly vulnerable line. He says, even last year I didn't admit to myself, but I was in Ireland also for escape from a world that wasn't more mine, but now I know. And then he finishes by saying, after years, you are the first person that make me think about myself.
That is just, I mean, that message represents a complete ground-up collapse of a deeply held ideology.
Yeah, really does.
And it didn't happen because of a screaming match. It happened because of how Lou diagnosed the actual problem at that table.
Exactly, because according to the notes, Lou sat there, looked at the fascist tattoos, and didn't attack Lucas's character.
Right. Didn't call him a monster or anything.
No, Lou just flat out asked him why he was a fascist.
And Lucas gives the textbook response that you hear echoed in, every corner of the globe. He complains that immigrants are flooding into Italy, they are taking all the jobs, ruining the culture.
Right, the usual script.
Yeah, and he says there was simply no work left for him in his own home country.
Which brings us to the twist.
The best part.
Because Lou doesn't argue with his assessment of Italy. Lou just looks at him and asks, what are you doing here in Ireland?
And Lucas answers, working.
Yeah. He tells Lou he is working at an international call center.
And this is where we really need to look at the actual mechanics of the global economy at that time, because this isn't just some lucky coincidence.
No, not at all.
I mean, think about it. Why is an Italian guy working at a call center in Ireland in 2008?
That is the exact thread we need to pull. You have to remember the economic landscape of Southern Europe during the financial crisis.
It was a mess.
It was. Italy's economy was being completely battered. Youth unemployment was skyrocketing, and traditional industries were just freezing up.
There simply wasn't domestic capital available to hire young men like Lucas.
Exactly. But while Lucas is blaming immigrants in Italy for his lack of opportunity, you have to ask, where did the capital actually go?
Right.
A massive chunk of it went to places like Ireland.
Right, because of the corporate tax structures over there?
Precisely.
Mm.
Ireland had engineered its economy to be this highly attractive hub for multinational corporations.
Like tech and pharmaceutical companies.
Yes, and service giants, all by offering incredibly low corporate tax rates. But here's the structural catch, and it's a big one.
Okay, lay it on me.
When a massive multinational corporation sets up its European headquarters in Dublin or Cork to take advantage of those tax laws, they still need to sell their products to the entire European market.
Oh, right. Which means they need customer support, sales, localized operations in Italian, Spanish, German, French.
Exactly. So they can't just hire local Irish workers for those specific roles.
They need native Italian speakers, like Lucas.
Yes. These multinational corporations essentially vacuum up young, economically desperate workers from across Europe.
Wow. So Lucas wasn't just a guy with a job.
No, he was a tiny cog in a multinational tax optimization strategy. He was forced to follow the capital.
So he had to migrate to Ireland, where the jobs were, to serve the Italian market from a corporate tax haven.
Which means he is, by definition, doing the exact same thing in Ireland that he is so angry at immigrants for doing in Italy.
He is the immigrant taking the job.
Exactly.
And this is where Luca delivers the absolute knockout punch.
Oh, this part is brilliant.
It really is. So at the time, Lou is attending college in Ireland. And because of a government policy introduced in 1996 called the Free Fees Initiative, the Irish government essentially abolished tuition fees for first-time undergraduate students.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and it was funded through general taxation. So Lou looks at this neo-Nazi across the table and sincerely thanks him.
Just genuine gratitude.
Yeah, Lou thanks Lucas for migrating to Ireland, for working at the call center, for paying Irish income tax.
And for directly financing the very education system that Lou was currently benefiting from.
It is so brilliant because it completely short-circuits his defensive mechanisms.
It really does, because if you attack someone's deeply held belief, they just build their defensive walls higher,
Yeah.
dig in.
Right. But Lou simply held up a mirror to the purely economic reality of Lucas's situation. Lou showed him his own reflection as a migrant worker within a multinational system. It's like a guy in a massive traffic jam laying on his horn, screaming at all the cars in front of him, completely oblivious to the fact that he is the traffic.
That is a perfect analogy. He was so blinded by his cultural anger that he couldn't see his own role in the macroeconomic machine.
But I have to stop here and push back on something.
Okay, go for it.
I am looking at the source notes detailing who Lou actually is, and I honestly struggle to see how this person is equipped to deliver a masterclass in global economics.
I mean, the background is pretty non-traditional.
Non-traditional is an understatement.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone described as a chaotic girl from Cork in New York.
Yeah.
Someone who bounced from public school to Catholic school to GED classes and night school.
Yeah, the educational path was definitely winding.
And the employment history is even wilder. I'm reading this list, working on a dude ranch, in a skate shop, doing body piercing, demolition, retail.
Don't forget monitoring autonomous vehicles.
Right. Monitoring autonomous vehicles, literally shoveling shit.
Quote unquote, yeah.
Yeah, all the way up to sitting at tables with senior tech executives. I mean, society, and certainly any corporate recruiter, would look at a resume that jumps from body piercing to tech executive and see someone who is completely lost.
They'd see it as a huge red flag. No focus.
Exactly. They'd say they lack focus. So how does a life of employment chaos translate into the kind of macroeconomic intelligence required to dismantle a fascist's worldview?
Well, I understand why a traditional recruiter would see that as a red flag.
Yeah.
But I actually think it is the secret to understanding this entire dynamic.
How so?
Because traditional career paths insulate you.
Okay.
If you go from a good university straight into a corporate job, you stay in your socioeconomic lane. You primarily interact with people in your own tax bracket who share your baseline assumptions about how the world works.
You're in a bubble.
Exactly.
Yep.
But Lou didn't have that insulation. Lou was born in Ireland but grew up moving back and forth to New York City, actually becoming a naturalized American citizen at age 12 inside the Twin Towers.
Oh, wow, the Twin Towers.
Yeah. From a very young age, Lou was constantly crossing literal and metaphorical borders.
Okay, so you might look at that resume and think this person is lost. But isn't it possible this exact chaos is the ultimate superpower for understanding how society actually works? Like, the chaos isn't a lack of focus, it's a massive data collection exercise.
That is a great way to phrase it, yes. Because Lou has experienced every single rung of the socioeconomic ladder. From shoveling dirt to presenting to executives, Lou has developed a systems-level view of humanity.
That makes a lot of sense.
Lou understands the friction of labor, because Lou has literally been the friction. So when Lou sits across from Lucas in that pub, Lou doesn't just see a hostile, frightening caricature of a bad person.
Right.
Lou sees a displaced worker, a taxpayer. Lou sees the structural reality of the labor market, not the loud culture war overlay that distracts everyone else.
That systems-level view is fascinating because the source material shows that Lou doesn't just apply this logic to one Italian guy in a pub.
No, it becomes a lens for everything.
Right. Lou uses it to process the broader prejudice witnessed all over the world. The sources highlight how local tensions always follow this universal script of us versus them.
It is so consistent no matter where you go.
It really is. Let's look at another incident from around the same time. In 2009, Lou is on a bus in the north side of Cork City, and this elderly woman starts screaming at Lou to, and I'm quoting here, "Go back to Poland."
The layers of irony in that moment are just staggering.
First of all, this woman is from Lou's own mother's neighborhood.
Right. Second, Lou obviously isn't Polish.
Obviously.
But third, and I think this is the most intense part, just the year prior, Lou and some friends were actually physically attacked in Cork by a group of Polish white supremacists.
It is dizzying. I mean, you get attacked by Polish white supremacists for presumably not belonging to their group.
And then a local Irish woman attacks you by assuming you are part of that group and telling you to leave.
Yeah. That's like a glitch in the Matrix or something. And the physical geography of where this happens doesn't even seem to matter.
No, not at all.
Because the script remains identical when Lou eventually moves to the United States.
Oh, the Arizona story.
Yeah. In Arizona, Lou is working in a corporate environment and overhears coworkers constantly complaining about coastal transplants ruining the housing market, immigrants crossing the border, people of color changing the culture.
They're terrified of losing their middle-class status.
Exactly. But when they find out Lou was actually born in Ireland and is a naturalized immigrant, their reaction is complete surprise. They literally say, "Oh, I didn't know you were an immigrant."
Which is just, wow, like somehow Lou gets a free pass.
Because Lou is white or speaks English with an acceptable accent, Lou is magically exempt from their definition of what an immigrant is.
Meanwhile, Lou is still fielding Irish drinking jokes in professional settings.
Right, exactly. The notes capture Lou's ultimate observation on all of this perfectly. It says, different places, same pattern, different
Right.
people, same script.
It's like a theater production where the sets, the cities, and the actors change, but they keep reading the exact same lines from the exact same script.
Yes. To me, it sounds like human prejudice isn't actually the fire itself. It is more like the pressure release valve on a massive industrial boiler.
That is a highly accurate way to look at the mechanics of human sociology.
Yeah.
Seriously. During times of stress, human groups naturally try to define an in-group and an out-group.
To protect themselves.
Exactly. When the economic engine of a society gets overheated because of, say, capital flight, vanishing jobs, or severe housing crunches, it builds immense psychological pressure within the local population.
People get scared.
Right. People are terrified of falling down the socioeconomic ladder, and human beings need a way to vent that pressure. The U.S. versus them narrative is a highly efficient, primitive venting mechanism.
It gives a face to a faceless structural problem.
Yes, because it is much easier to yell at the person on the bus than it is to yell at an abstract concept like globalized supply chains.
I mean, how do you even yell at a supply chain, right?
Yeah, you can't. So, to the elderly woman on the bus in Cork, she is venting the pressure of a rapidly changing neighborhood and an insecure future. She uses the Polish immigrant population as the release valve, and unfortunately, Lou just gets caught in the crossfire.
And the same goes for the coworkers in Arizona.
Exactly. They are venting the pressure of economic instability, but they give Lou a pass because Lou fits their arbitrary definition of safety. It proves that prejudice in these contexts is rarely about a rational assessment of the individual sitting in front of you.
Right.
It is a structural tool used by a group to process their own economic anxiety.
Which brings us to the ultimate question.
Okay.
If we are just listening to the steam whistling out of the pressure valve, We really need to look at the massive, silent economic machinery that is actually heating up the boiler in the first place.
The macro machine behind the micro tension.
Exactly. The sources referred to this underlying reality as the transit receipts.
Yeah, that is a crucial concept here. Liu notes that in their family's history, emigration was never like a fun hobby or a whimsical adventure.
Right. It wasn't backpacking through Europe.
No, they moved for survival. Liu's father's side of the family worked in the Irish motor industry during a period when domestic manufacturing was dying. Populations were shifting and jobs were permanently vanishing.
So they had to move.
Yes. And as an adult moving between Ireland and the U.S., Liu was doing the exact same thing, chasing education, chasing work, and trying to survive the shifts in the market.
We really have to look at the speed of capital versus the speed of labor.
Oh, this is such an important point.
Because a multinational corporation can move $1 billion across an international border with a single keystroke. It happens instantly.
Instantly.
But a human being, if the factory closes or the local industry collapses, a human being has to physically pack a bag, leave their extended family behind, move to a new country, and maybe try to learn a new language just to pay rent.
And that lag time, the difference between how fast money can move and how fast humans can adapt, is where all the pain lives. Lucas was caught in that lag. Lou's family was caught in it. The elderly woman on the bus was feeling the effects of it in her neighborhood.
It's all connected.
It is. When Lou connected the dots in college, the realization was profound. These loud, aggressive local arguments in pubs and on buses aren't actually about culture at all.
They seem like it, but they aren't.
Right. They are deeply intrinsically tied to multinational corporate tax policy, foreign direct investment, and shifting labor markets.
Which leads me to ask you, the listener, a really important question to ponder. Are we so distracted by the loud, angry culture wars happening right in front of us, on the news, on social media, or in our own communities, that we completely miss the silent economic machinery that is actually pulling the strings?
That is the core insight to take away from these sources. Lucas didn't leave Italy simply because he woke up one day and decided he hated his neighbors.
Right.
He left because capital shifted globally, and he was forced to follow it to an international call center in Ireland. The anxieties Lou witnessed in Cork and in Arizona are symptoms of massive global economic shifts.
Big tectonic movements.
Yeah. When wealth and labor are moved around the globe by forces far larger than any single individual, it leaves local populations feeling deeply insecure. And instead of looking upward at the tax policies, the housing regulations, and the corporate structures causing that insecurity,
But they look sideways.
exactly, they fight over the remaining scraps and blame whoever happens to be standing next to them.
It is genuinely incredible. I mean, a 10-minute encounter with a guy covered in fascist tattoos becomes an absolute masterclass in seeing the invisible strings of the world.
It really does.
Because Lou had shoveled dirt, sat with tech executives, and lived across borders, Lou didn't just see a neo-Nazi. Lou could see the tax laws, the labor migration patterns, and the corporate footprints standing right there in the pub.
It is a powerful reminder that true intelligence isn't just about reading economic textbooks. It's about synthesizing diverse, often painful lived experiences to see the systemic patterns that everyone else is missing.
And this matters for you too, the listener, because you are not separate from the system.
No, none of us are.
Every time you clock into work, every time you look at the deductions on your pay stub to see where your taxes are going, or every time you are sitting in a coffee shop and overhear a conversation about who belongs in your town and who doesn't, you are inside the machine.
You are witnessing these exact same macro forces playing out in your daily life.
Exactly. You too are part of the transit receipts.
We all are. We're all navigating the lag between the speed of capital and the reality of human life.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over today, building on everything we've just discussed.
Let's hear it.
If human prejudice and that aggressive us versus them rhetoric is largely just a pressure release valve for when the economic engine leaves blue-collar or migrant workers behind, what happens when that same machinery comes for the middle class?
Oh, that is a chilling thought.
Right. Right now, we are watching artificial intelligence and automation start to threaten the very white-collar jobs that have traditionally insulated the professional in-group.
The pressure in the boiler is going to spike dramatically in the coming years.
It has to. When the invisible machinery starts replacing the comfortable middle class, and there's no obvious immigrant or outsider left to blame, who becomes the outgroup then?
Wow.
How does a society vent its profound economic anxiety when the machine itself is the one taking your place? It's something to think about the next time you hear someone complaining about the state of the world. Maybe instead of arguing, just ask them how their industry is doing. You might just break their brain.